Hi everybody, it's April. I am going to try and change out my Copic nibs. I've never done this before, so bear with me, but while I was getting everything ready for this video, I was looking at the difference of size, the comparison between the Sketch Fine and the medium round, and they're really not, it's not that dramatic, so I thought, well, what's going on here? And then I opened one of my markers and I realized this is not the regular Copic nib that comes on your marker. I don't know what size these are. I thought I had those, but unless I'm mistaken, look at the difference in size. This is the medium round, and then this is the Sketch Fine. You see how much smaller that is? But in comparison to the medium round, I'm pretty sure this is a smaller nib as well. See what I mean? So that's interesting to know. Also, Victoria had asked me where did my husband find the Sketch Fine markers, and he told me that he found them on eBay. So if I can find the seller that he found them, or if I can find them on eBay or Amazon, I will link those in the description below. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and see how I do. I did get out, I don't have refills or anything, but I do have this alcohol blending solution, so I thought I can use that to clean up any spills, or sometimes my caps or, you know, they leak like that, so I need to clean that up, and you can just use a little bit of this alcohol blending solution. So I'm going to take the medium round, which is the gray, and I'm just going to take the chisel end. So on the Copics, if you're not familiar with Copics, obviously if you're watching this video you probably have Copics, but the side that has the gray striping is your brush nib. So the other end is your chisel nib. And I'm just going to take that out. Make sure I'm in frame. So I'm just going to gently grab it with the tweezers and pull straight out. Okay. And then I'm going to take my hand. I don't really want to grip the end of that. It has these little prongs, little teeth. So I'm just going to take my hand and gently push that in. I don't know how far I can get it in, but let's see. Yeah, it feels like that's all the way in. So I'm going to let that sit on its side. I just pushed it in as far as it would let me. And then I've seen some people take the cap off of the other end. Excuse me, and that would just let the fluid inside disperse evenly to both ends. Another thing, Kelly, I don't know how to pronounce her last name, Lativola, she has given the tip that if you ever have your markers throwing up, or I like to call it throwing up, you know, where you get a big blotch of ink that just flushes out of your marker, she said to take both caps off, so it'll level out the pressure within the barrel. So that's a little tip that's been helpful to me, and it works immediately. So instead of wasting your ink, I've heard in the past, just, you know, go ahead and, you know, scratching off and getting a lot of ink out of your marker. Well, that doesn't make sense, because then you're just wasting a lot of ink. So that's not going all the way down. Let me see if I can push it in. Trying to get my cap back on. Oh, there it goes. Okay. So we'll let that sit and come back to it. I don't think I'm going to leave the caps off. And then I thought I would put the red one. I think I was going to do both. I was going to do the green. I was going to do the green and red, but let's do the red for now. So I need to clean that up. And I thought I would just test that out as well. I'm just going to take, excuse me, I'm going to take a little bit of the alcohol blending solution and just drip it on my napkin, and then go over here Now I've seen, you know, people take their caps and clean that off with some Q-tips, so that would be, you know, helpful. But just for right now, I'm just going to go around and get the majority of it off the barrel. I feel like I'm making a bigger mess. There we go. Okay, it's coming clean. Alright, I'm not going to mess around with that too much, but let's go to this end. Let's take the chisel nib out. And I'm just going to grab it with my tweezers. And I'm kind of holding this still and pulling my marker this way. And I'm going to take the Sketch Fine nib and push in, being careful because, oh, see, now that one does go all the way down. I feel like it might leak. That's not, you can see there's actually, I'm sorry, let me get in frame. So this one, I feel like I could push that all the way in past the lip. And you can see that surface around the cotton. I hope that doesn't leak. I feel like that would leak. And see how it's kind of starting to wick up into the nib? I'm curious to see if this end is going to leak. Wow, I didn't even have to do much to this one. It's already filling up. Ooh, that'll be curious to see if it leaks, because it doesn't look like it has a full seal. Alright, I'm going to set that baby aside for a second. Or maybe I should take both ends off. I'm going to let that sit for a minute. So that's it. I think I'm going to do one on the green. We'll do that one more time. So this is, let me show you the different sizes. So this is, the green is your regular size nib. The red is the Sketch Fine nib. And then let's take a look at the medium round. See, this one is not filling up. This one isn't even coming into the barrel. But let's just take a look. Maybe I should have done a different color. Okay. So those are the different size nibs. So you have the brush, the medium round, and the Sketch Fine. Okay. It's a little disconcerting if that one's not. Maybe I just don't. I don't know. Let me pull this out for a second. Oh, it's starting to come in here, so maybe I just don't have a... This is a pretty new marker. I just can't get it to go all the way down in there. Let me see. I feel like I'm going to mess it up, so I'm going to leave that alone. Maybe turn it on its head like that for a few minutes. Okay. See if it'll suck in some ink to the other end. In the meanwhile, let's see what these two guys are going to do. I want to see if that red is going to bleed, or is it all the way sealed? Okay, let me get these out of the way. I went ahead and stamped this little image here in that is, well, that's not gonna, I'm not gonna be able to compare. You know what, let's do, that's what I was gonna do. I'm sorry, getting distracted. Oh goodness me. So I'm gonna take the green one out, and let's put a medium on there since my gray isn't working right now. So this is the medium. It says medium round, number 5. Excuse me. And that one's going all the way down. Okay, so let's compare again. This is your regular brush end versus the medium. Okay, so give that a second to see if that's gonna get some fluid in there. Yeah, it's coming in. And this one seals perfectly. Okay, so I like the medium. Alright, so let's test these babies out. I really feel like that one on the red is going to leak. Let's see what happens. Okay. So first let me do a swatch using the regular end. And then this is the Sketch Fine end. Wow. Look at that. Oh my goodness. That is crazy. That is super fine. Wow. Okay, well it doesn't look like it's bleeding. Okay. So definitely, you know, more like a pen, like you could write with it like a pen, so that's pretty nice. Okay. And then the medium round is this end, I think. Let me see how fine. And if you hold the very tip of your regular brush marker, you can get, you have to do it really light, but you can get a tiny line there. Okay. So I just want to show you, I think you can alter the size of the lines, you know, just depending on how you hold it, but the majority of your brush strokes are going to give you the thicker on the brush nib, and then you have your medium round, and then obviously that little teeny line is the Sketch Fine. So okay, let's just try it on some coloring, and I'll zoom down just to share. I'm sorry this isn't as, you know, I'm not a Copic artist. I've never done this before, but I thought I would share my experience trying it out for the first time. Okay, so let's just do this little stocking and see how fine. Surprisingly, it's not bleeding at all, but I thought I wanted to get, you know, I want to get into these little tiny, you know, spaces, because I feel like that's the point of it. Especially with red. So yeah, that definitely is going to make it easier for me. So let's say I was going around these little polka dots. Yep. Let's try out the medium nib. This one is I don't know how I feel about that one. I feel like I don't have as much pointed pointed surface. Let me show you what I'm talking about. So the end of the brush nib, there really isn't that much. Maybe it's just practice, but when you look at my brush, see how much of a tapered edge that goes to. So I feel like I could do, and the flexibility, I feel like I have more control with the brush, so I can get really fine up against that line. Whereas this one, I feel like I'm really struggling because I don't have a tip. I don't have that much tip. I mean, I guess I don't know. I think I'm okay with this end, but yeah, that's interesting. It's more like maybe the Spectrum Noir. Let's take a look at that. Let me see if we compared them. Sorry, gosh, I think I've been more prepared. So that looks a lot like the Spectrum Noir nib. Let me compare that in a swatch. That's the Copic. Yeah, you can definitely get a finer detail with the Copic nib. Okay, so I don't know. I feel like the Sketch Fine, I don't think, just from working with it, I've only worked with it for just that second, but just in my hands and feeling it, I don't feel like the medium round is that much more effective than the regular size brush nib. But the Sketch Fine is definitely you know, more detailed, more fine of a nib that literally would just give you lines, you know, straight lines. I mean, look how fine of a line I can get on that one. That is really tiny. So yeah, see the comparison here. This is a regular brush, Copic brush nib, and this is the Sketch Fine nib. So, okay. Alright, I'm sorry that wasn't a better of a review, but you can see that they are filling. Let's check the gray marker to see how that one's doing. I might just need more ink in that one. So hopefully that was helpful. I tell you what. Alright, so let's see if it's getting any ink in the end. So again, I just took out the chisel nibs. Oh, there it goes. Okay. So I just stored it like this over here in my little thing. Yeah, it's pretty firm too. So this is the medium round. And you know, I mean, it might come in handy for sure. I think I'll put the mediums on my gray markers because a lot of times we are coloring small images with grays, you know, little critters if we want them to be white or, you know, what have you. So I think I'll do that. I'll put the medium round on my gray markers. And so yeah, so now when you're working with your markers, you know, you have the option of, you know, one end is your brush nib and the other end is your, you know, fine or more, the smaller nib. And that way you're utilizing both ends of the marker instead of, you know, I mean, I'm sure there's some people that use the chisel nibs, you know, but I don't. I just don't color enough for that. So what I thought I would do though is, you know, I don't know if I should just throw these away, or I'm sure you could get the ink out of them somehow, you know, but it is what it is. So anyhow, thanks for your patience. I'm sorry this wasn't a little more professional. But yeah, it is what it is, guys. Okay, have a good night. I'll be back with a card tutorial very soon. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.